Today, we're speaking with a competitor from the Ukraine who grew up in Israel, where she started her competition journey in 2013. She also served the Israeli army before moving to the United States, where she earned her NASM personal training and nutrition certification, as well as her real estate license with Keller Williams. She competed in her first NPC show in 2016 and competed in, I believe it was 8 shows following that before earning her pro card at 2022 Nationals in Orlando. And then she made her pro debut at the Battle of Texas, where she took home 6th place. Now, I had such a pleasure actually preparing this episode for you guys, and her journey is awesome. And I'm just going to welcome her to the show now. So welcome, Marina Maliden. How are you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you, Celeste?
Awesome. I am glad we're doing a video interview because I haven't done a lot of them. I've been doing them more, and it's great to see your face. And I got some good feedback on the most recent ones. And It's funny, we're recording this. So you see the 1 million balloons right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was from the podcast party I just hosted in Arizona to celebrate 1 million downloads.
Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Thank
I didn't
you.
realize that. I thought it was followers.
Thank
the
you.
Downloads is way better. Because they actually listen and interact. That is so awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. So for perspective, for people to know how far in advance we're recording this episode as well for timeline, so they can go back and catch up with you more. But I'm just excited to have you on because we had the pleasure of meeting at the Olympia, and I was just really looking forward to interviewing you and learning more about you. So before we dive in, I got to ask you, do you have anything you do or a ritual right before your heel hits the stage?
I say a Jewish prayer.
Okay, what is it?
האיש אשר לא שמע בעצת רשעים וחטאים לא עמד בכל נשמת ההללויה הללויה ישמע ישראל אמן. It's just a little prayer from the Book of Songs. Wow. I don't know why I do it, but I just do it.
What is it if you were to translate it?
If I translate, it means I shall not walk in the path of evil, and God bless me, and I'm doing this with all my heart. Ooh,
that's beautiful. I love that so much. And I'm excited to learn more about your history too. But I want to dive right into something that inspires me from a competitor point of view, because you went from a 2nd place finish at North Americans in 2018, just missing your pro card, to then 3rd callouts, no callouts, and various placings in your next 2 years of competing. You then took a year off and you came back to take a 1st place and your pro card. 2 years off. Oh my goodness. And then you got your pro card. So tell us more about this journey to winning your pro card and what it was like for you to go from so close to then another 4 or 5 years later of pursuing it.
Well, I really think that my 2nd place in 2018 is just when the sport starts shifting into a more competitive, more muscular, leaner look. And it was really like the last year of that. The bikini division changed drastically in a year. Yeah. And my body did not fit the category anymore. Simple as that. I did have some troubles with hormone imbalances, bad coaches experiences, all that good stuff. Maybe, dieting too much or doing too much because I was so close. But eventually I just came on top and decided that, I have to do a change. I actually met my coach in one of the workshops. I go to all the workshops in Mississippi and Louisiana. That's my area. And I really advise everybody to go to workshops, even if they already know the rules. It's not just for new competitors. It makes connections. And I was so blessed to meet my coach, who is currently my coach, and Corey Becker. He's an IFBB Classic Physique. And he changed everything. He literally told me, you're going to waste another year because you just don't quite know how to get to that level. You're still stuck in 2018. And it was hard for me to back off of a show. And I did. I never did that before, but it was worth it. So I really think that just matching the category and having a good coach behind you, that made the difference.
I love that. I think that's so important. A couple things you said. One, making those connections on an ongoing basis. You're never too far along in the sport to keep learning and growing, and the connections and community here is amazing. And then
One of the best things.
I agree. I really do. And I think as well, like when you commit to the goal that you have to be willing to pivot or make changes. So you realized, and your coach was telling you, you're stuck in 2018. So what was the feedback you had gotten? And then what did you guys do to actually improve in that time frame off?
Sometimes the feedback would be get leaner. Sometimes the feedback will be grow muscle. And every time it would be around that. From what I understood, it was I had to grow more muscle and get leaner at the same time, because you cannot have glute tie-ins if you don't have glutes. Does that make sense? There's nothing to pull out that definition out. So I would try to gain some muscle, but then I will not get lean enough in time because I didn't take enough time off. And I kept going in that cycle, because it is kind of, you would say, an obsession, but you have to be obsessed to be good at it. And you always want to improve, but sometimes you just get into that rut of just prepping off season, gaining a lot of weight off season. That's another thing that I don't do anymore. And then getting everything you got to lose that weight and losing muscle again. And it's just a vicious cycle. Taking a year off and really growing and focusing on growing while staying lean, that really made the difference. And I think the best feedback I ever got was from Jack Sullivan when I did the Chattanooga and I won the overall. He really, really gave me a good feedback about what it means to be a pro.
What was it that he shared with you?
Well, I mean, he explained that in that division, you have to have everything. It's not you need to have amazing glutes or you need to have really good shoulders. It's the overall package. It's everything together and how it comes up together and how you see it on stage. And he said, you have the personality, you have the shape. Now bring it all together and really show off on nationals. You got to show everything at once. You can't just give little glimpses of this and that, and this and that. So that was
Do you feel
cool.
like you did that before, like little glimpses of things?
Yeah, I would really work on my posing one year, and then I'll really get on getting lean one year, and then I'll be like, this is shoulder year. So I'll show my shoulders, what about the glutes? But again, you have to have the really good guidance, and we are so subjective. And because I didn't have good companionship with coaches before, who didn't really understand what I needed as a client, I would miss that and literally, try to coach myself in some aspects where I should have just give all the responsibility, you say, and all the work to the coach and just follow like automat. Sometimes you have to do that because you are not subjective at all, especially when you're lean and hungry.
Exactly. It's so true. And you mentioned that in your improvement seasons and your approach to them, you had to change things and make sure you stayed lean. And I recall in a YouTube video you shared that you needed to really prioritize your health, your hormones, and things outside of competing to refresh and re-fall in love with competing. So when you were doing that, how did that time frame serve you on all those levels of your life, as well as in maybe how you approach improvement seasons?
Well, I have a little trick I do for a long time now. I don't like the post-show blues. I don't like that. And I think that happens because we put all the eggs in one basket. And like I said, you have to be dedicated and focused in the sport. But when you get off season and everything is kind of slowing down, you got to have a different goal. And better for it not to be in fitness. If it taking a course, if it's trying a different sport. I mean, I remember trying powerlifting. Oh, didn't like it. But I tried it and I make sure that I did it all the way from the beginning till the end because I wanted to focus on something else. Getting my real estate certificate, which is completely not fitness, doing that. Instead of focusing on how I look, what I eat, off season too much, I made sure I shift that focus on other aspects of life, working on my mental health, learning how to meditate, doing yoga, just developing yourself as a person in many aspects of life, not just one. Yes, when time asks for it, that's what you do. But it's time to relax. Go ahead and try something new.
I really appreciate that perspective, because I think sometimes people struggle with the idea of an improvement season because they've been pushing themselves for so long, maybe even back-to-back years into a prep, that it's difficult to identify, like, what does a productive, successful improvement season look like for me? And I too had some of those experiences of the ups and downs, but when I decided what it meant for me and I committed to how I define success in this sport, I started to see so much more longevity, progress, and joy in the process. And you brought up something that you do, which is having other goals. And I liked what you listed. And I think you shared another thing in your YouTube too about having photo shoots and staying motivated with that.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I
yeah,
love that.
I do that. I do that a lot for other women. I am very, very motivated by empowering women. I work with a lot of women. I coach them nutritionally, I do lifestyle, and I do classes. And I just love empowering women because as women, we give so much to children, to our husbands, to our partners, to our jobs. And sometimes we forget about ourselves. So for me, I wanted to empower, especially in that aspect, competitors that struggle with posting pictures of season or improvement season because they're like, I don't look good because I'm not lean. But that's not true. Your not good is probably somebody's excellent.
Exactly.
So empower yourself and learn to love yourself in any body type. I mean, look how lucky we are. We can be lean and tight and muscular, and then a few months later we can be lumptious and you know, and bootylicious and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just another aspect of ourselves. It's just like changing the haircut. Like if you like yourself blonde and you like yourself brunette, well, awesome. You have two of you that you like, then you can always move back and forth. So what I did, I decided to do a photo shoot of my heaviest when I was struggling and repairing my hormones, which was such an uncomfortable place for me. I do model sometimes for a living, but that specific photo shoot, it was a bikini photo shoot and I was struggling, but I did it. And you know what? I'm happy I did it because those pictures are wonderful. It gave me confidence to do that. To get out of the comfort zone actually gave me confidence back. That wasn't that bad. I didn't look that bad. I actually looked pretty good. And I think that showing that and not putting a filter on it and too much Photoshop and showing other girls, you know, I am not lean right now. And I'm not going to repost pictures of me being lean all year. I'm just going to show you the truth. It's going to empower you to maybe do a photo shoot too, or maybe wear a bikini, or maybe take the jacket off or the sweatshirt off in the gym and show that you have a belly roll. And what? There's another girl that looking at you with your belly rolls and your cellulitis that you don't like so much and saying, oh my God, I wish I could look like that. So just empower and love each other and love yourselves. Love yourselves dearly, because nobody, you know, how can anybody love you if you don't love yourself? You got to love yourself.
So everyone listening, just rewind like 40 seconds and press play again, because that was really, really beautifully said and such a great message. And I think it's a major takeaway and a take home, because we have to be able to embrace all these changes our body undergoes, and we're going to be changing for the rest of our lives. It's a privilege, like you said, to be able to do this. And how amazing is it that we have that control or that ability to make those changes and to commit to this lifestyle. Plus, like, you did a photo shoot at your heaviest. I remember I did that a few years ago. I like had this really cool like water scene. It totally felt like a Hillary Duff like metamorphosis moment.
Oh, cool.
It was so cool and so fun. And I remember just like going into that photo shoot, I was like worried about it. And then when I got it and I got through it, I had so much fun during that shoot. I wasn't even thinking about my body. I was just like enjoying it being something different. And like you said, it actually increased my confidence, because when we expose ourselves to difficult things, then it's easier and we start to accept that. And I think wearing a crop top in the gym, if you want to wear a crop top regardless of the season, do it. And one of my very first coaches ever, he would say, the body in your improvement season that you guys are trying to hide is literally most people's like dream. It's still like in that top 5%. And as women, like, we need to really own that our body's always changing, and think there's a lot of things that come with being a woman. And you had mentioned specifically that you were dealing with hormonal issues at the time. So what were some of the things that you had to do to resolve hormone issues so you could come back and pursue this goal?
Well, I start feeling, I think I had adrenal fatigue. I got all the symptoms, and not eating a lot of calories and training really, really hard eventually put a little stress on my hormones, and I stopped having my period. And I got really scared because I do want to have kids. And I contact Adam from the team See You Later.
Yes.
He is amazing person. I love him dearest. He's a really good friend. And he really specialized in helping women with hormonal dysfunction. And I told him, I don't want to take the drug route. I want to try to do this naturally. And we did a lot of supplements, Vixen berry and ashwagandha and matcha and trial and error and blood work and tracking food and increasing and decreasing and not doing cardio at all. And not I worked out 4 days a week. That was terrible for me. I work out at least 6, and I am just like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, it was tough. But slowly, the body started reacting. Because before, when I gained a lot of weight, I would try to diet really hard. But I did it a few times, and the third time, it didn't work. There was nothing that I could do. The weight stayed. It was nothing I did. The weight stayed. I could have killed myself. I remember running for an hour every day, trying to lose that weight, and did not work. I got to a place where I almost had shin splints from running so much and stressing my body, but I still didn't see results. And I was like, something is wrong. And that was wrong, the hormones. So I would advise anybody, if you have any deficiency in your hormone and you're in prep, stop your prep. The main reason I got problem with my hormones was because I stopped taking birth control in the middle of prep. So I already was stressed hormonally, and I stopped taking the birth control, which I really hate birth control now, because all they did, it took me almost a whole year to restore my cycle, but it's back, and it's been all the way through nationals. I mean, I got my cycle a day after nationals. Everything's good. But it took a lot of work. It took a lot of trial and error, and doing blood work is so important, man or female. We are athletes. All professional athletes check their bodies because that's our vessel, right? That's what we use the most in a day. You want to stay healthy. And sometimes you really don't know. And you can really fix one little deficiency that you have, and you flourish. And suddenly you do grow muscle, and suddenly you do get lean. It can be thyroid, but it can be as well vitamin D. You know, it can be that maybe your kidneys are in low levels because you're not drinking enough water and you're eating so much protein. It can be little things. Be optimal. It does worth the money. I know it's expensive.
Yes, it's worth the money, and it's worth the time too, because it's a time investment to like really commit to healing these things. And like you said, you had to step away from training as often as you were and doing the habits that you had previously gotten used to. And Adam, that's how I started working with him, is because he initially had done blood work for me, a review of it, and got my period back. And I was like, wow. And it stayed, literally, I only lost it like, I want to say 3 weeks before North Americans in this past year. And I was like, that's the longest I've had it. And then it came back really quick. So I think if you are able to manage those things and do those things and pay attention, like you said, it is our vessel. And plus, as athletes, like, we have such a deep connection with our body, but only if we stay tuned into it. If we keep ignoring those signs and signals, we're actually probably limiting our potential, versus like you've done, you've optimized it. And you said you really want to have kids, which this is something I've been thinking about, which is, you're in your 30s, and you had shared, I believe, on, again, a YouTube, I was researching, of course, and you were talking about how you have to think about importance of needs, like career, family development, progress in the sport. And I think in your 30s, there's that pressure as well. Even as you approach your 30s, like, how does that look? And when am I going to do that? And how do I establish these things in my life so I'm good? Because as women, we have a clock, right? Or it becomes more difficult with age. And sometimes that pressure, I think, can influence our decisions or get to us. So how have you personally managed or considered what is a priority for you in your life, or what your timeline is?
Well, I think most of the decisions, big ones, we should do when we're in the improvement season and we are not clouded by our short goals. And really decide if we really want to have kids, right? Approaching 30 and not having a kid and being a pro, that's the time that you decide, am I going to hurt my career and take a step back, or is the career more important for me? And it's okay either way. Not everybody want to have kids. It is important for me to have at least one. But I'm very inspired by other pros that have children. Janet Leong, India Pauline. Oh my God, she came back 18 months after.
Yeah.
You know, my friend Paula Align, she's IFBB Pro as well from Tennessee. She had a baby. She is running on the treadmill every day, the baby on the ground. It's possible. You can do it. And if you've been through so many competitions, so many diets, so many workouts, failure, tribulations in the sport, you can have a baby while competing too. Yeah, you just need a really good support system, and you have to have a plan. Making a plan is important. I don't right now know exactly when I'm gonna have a kid. Of course, it depends on other things in life. But when that comes to a situation, I'll have a plan set up, and I will know when to come back. And some girls know come back and decide that maybe they want to retire from the sport. I do want to come back, and I will. It's just a matter of planning it right, taking the time to heal, restore your hormones too. You know, you can still work out while you're pregnant. But and on the other aspect, if we are looking at life in big decisions and our whys, my big why, if competing in the beginning, was to create a legacy to myself so I can pass on for my next generation. So it's already inside my why. The purpose of me competing is for me to have a daughter to say, my mom did something wonderful for herself and inspired a lot of women. So it's not even a question of how to do it. It's a question of how we're going to manage it. And I do discuss that a lot with my coach, and I do discuss that a lot with my partner. And, you know,
I love that. That's so important. Like having those conversations with ourselves and with people in our life who would be part of our support team is really key. And it's not always easy necessarily to know what that looks like. But when we have people who have done it, like the moms I've interviewed, I'm like so inspired, like you said, and they've figured it out, or they have their approach. And I think there's more than people realize. There's more moms competing than you may even know, and let that be empowering if that's something you want to keep doing or considering. I don't think life has to stop when you become a parent, you know, like it's about, and I love how you said your why has always included your legacy, and I just think that's really beautiful. Something I did want to ask you too is about how you became a real estate agent. You did invest in other aspects of your life and things that you wanted to pursue. So certified nutrition coach, personal trainer, and real estate agent. So what inspired you to pursue all these careers when you came here?
Well, I really have a big passion for fitness. So I certify myself so I can work and help other women to get to where they want to be, help other men to get to where they want to be. I did coach athletes in the beginning, but right now I don't have really time for that. That's a lot of work with athletes. The reason I went to real estate was because I decided that I need to follow something else than fitness as well, because I want to brighten my horizon, you know, and try something different, just in case that it will become too much fitness all the time. Like I said, sometimes you want to take time off, and I'm really interested in real estate. I think that helping people to find their dream home, that's wonderful. You know, I think my whole aspect of what I like to do in life is motivate people to do better in any aspect, right? So as well, it makes more money. That's another thing. I do want to have a good financial balance, and it's coming really close to a point where I am going to start thinking about a kid. So I want to be prepared. I mean, it's not going to happen in a year or two, but still, I want to be prepared. It's different. It's interesting. I'm always going to have fitness in my life, but just want to try a different avenue.
I love that. And I appreciate that you were even willing to address the financial side of things, because
Sure.
we are making a life, we're making a living, and it's great to see people pursuing things inside and outside of fitness. And I want to go back to your pro debut.
Mhm.
Now, did you, after having up and down placings, did you expect or maybe have a different view on competing going into your pro debut? Or were you like, yeah, I figured I would get sixth place or close?
Um, I step up. The first competition I step up this year was Chattanooga Night of Champions, and I didn't know how I'm going to compare against the girls being away for a while. And the sport is always progressing, and I won the overall, and I was shocked. And then I went and did another show, the Southern Muscle, sorry, in Louisiana, and I won another show. So going to nationals, I was nervous, but I saw my coach's replies, and he never gives compliments. He will tell you like, yeah, you're doing right. But when he gives a compliment, it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I was confident that he is confident. I literally came to perform. I was very, very confident that I'm gonna get my pro card, unlike all the other times. And I did a lot, like 8 national shows, probably a total of 18 shows in my whole career, starting from Israel all the way to America. And that was the only time that I felt I got this. I
Mm,
literally felt it. It did fall down later on when I did a pro debut a week after against
okay.
all the Olympians. That kind of shook me, but that's a good shake. But it was a calm feeling. Everybody talk about going and getting the pro card, and they kind of have the feeling of calmness, and it's the best show they ever did because they feel so confident. It's true.
Mm.
It's true. It was like I knew how much work I put in it. I knew how I compare against other girls. I knew what I need to focus on on my presentation, and I brought it.
That's beautiful. And so what was different a week later?
Well, um, I was competing against, I think what it was three of them was top 3 Olympians, and compare yourself to the best physiques in the world was a little bit scary. I had to make a pro routine in 4 days, so that was
It's
something.
really intense.
Um, yeah, but I was excited to see how I compare. I was excited to know what I need to do next. What
Yeah.
is my next move? I have to say, I'm really proud of myself for placing so well next to them. And although I was nervous, I didn't show it, but I was very nervous. Peeing my pants. I was so nervous backstage. It was just incredible. It's so
Oh,
different.
how
Everybody
did
was
you
very
control
nice.
those?
It was a big production. Galveston Productions, awesome, one of the best ones, and I just had fun. But I was nervous because I think it's a different mindset. It's going from the top to back, start over. But
Yes.
that's what's fun about it, because you're never the best. You always have work to do.
Exactly. Even the champion has a huge target on her back and has to improve. And
Yes.
it doesn't, that's really, I think, why bodybuilding can be so addictive too, is because we are so driven by striving for things. And so it keeps us striving. But you said you were nervous and didn't show it. What did you do to control those nerves?
Pray, meditate,
Mm.
breathe. I do a lot of breathing exercises. I make sure I call my mom before when I'm backstage, and we do breathing and we talk and
Oh,
we meditate and kind of calm down, because when you calm your heart rate and your breathing, you feel a little bit better. And as well, kind of imagine that I always imagine everybody came to see me perform. I'm not competing. There's just other girls here, but that's my show. Kind of reducing the stress. It's a subjective sport. in the end of the day, even if you think you're the best and everybody think you're the best, the person that's going to decide if you're the best is the judge, but it's not connected to your value. So there's no point to be stressed about it. You just need to come and show your best.
Love that. I really like how you said it's not connected to your value. I think that's so important, and things can change show to show, year to year, as you've experienced. Now, you did have to put together that pro routine in 4 days. Did your dance background help with that?
Yes, it did
Yeah.
a lot. But I did hire a posing coach, Angeline, to help me to
Yeah.
make it a little bit more professional. You work with Angeline too, right?
Okay, so that's so funny because I've been doing my own posing coaching since like 2020 now,
Mhm.
but I just literally yesterday bought a session with Angeline for February 8th. So
Oh, you're
next,
gonna love it.
I can't wait. I saw she sponsored the podcast party and she's like, Celeste, I told her I was gonna start working with her. She's like, good, because I've seen this and this already in your posing routine. I'm like,
I
awesome.
know. Girl, she told me when I contacted her, she was like, I remember you. My client posed second to you when she won her pro card. Yeah. So the way you turn, I was like, she has no rest. She knows. She's very
I love it.
professional. She really has good points, good tips. She gives you homework. I really enjoy working with her. I never had a posing coach before because of my dancing background. I kind of, you know,
Hmm.
I assess what I need to do. But as a pro, it's a different ball game. They all know how to pose. You
Yeah.
can barely outpose anybody. They all look good and they all know how to pose. It's exciting, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to hold certain poses the way I thought was right, and it's not. And I was like, oh, that was much better. But as well, I think when you have such a longer routine, you do need to have a structure and you do need to have some kind of strategy in your posing. When you do 12 seconds on national stage or 30 seconds on the regional stage, the purpose is to show as less flaws as possible. And I really feel as a pro, you show all of your flaws. Like you don't have any. Like you're trying to show like I don't have any flaws, but it takes so long, a minute and a half posing routine. That's a long time for the judges to scan you up and down and then do that again. So you
Yeah.
better not drop those glutes. You better turn in 45-degree angle. You better keep that smile on your face and twist all the way. You know, you can't have a second of not doing it right. So I really wanted to be professional as a professional athlete and
Yeah.
go ahead and hire the best posing coach, in my opinion.
I love that so much. And she's been on the podcast, you guys. So if you want posing tips from her, she's been on 2 times. Just search Angeline Jensen in the posing, or I'm sorry, in the podcast page, which is celestial.fit/podcast. And it's even alphabetized. So just go to Angeline Jensen's name and you'll be able to find it. But she's freaking great. I'm excited to work with her, and I'll hopefully keep you guys posted on how that is. But
I'm
Marina,
in love with her accent.
I know she's
Oh,
so
I can listen to
cute.
her forever.
She's so great. I guess that helps with a coach too, to actually be able to want to listen.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you about your time in Israel, because I believe it's mandatory to serve in the Israeli army, right?
Yes.
So
Women mandatory to serve 2 years and men are mandatory to serve 3 years. And
okay.
then you stay in reserve for the next 5 years unless you get pregnant or married, and men just stay in reserve for 10 years.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So what do you personally think about that?
Well, I'm happy I did it. I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. I don't like to get so. I don't know. I don't like to take orders.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm a personal trainer. That's why I teach CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. It's my way, not yours. No, I'm joking. But I did enjoy it specifically. It did give me a lot of tools. It taught me time management. It taught me routine. I mean, I still make my bed every morning, no matter how early I get up. That's my routine. And that's
Yep.
why I can get up every morning and do a 5 a.m. class and then do a posing routine and do vacuums and do my cardio and stretches. And I do that every day because I have that mentality. I know how to manage my time. to make sure I have all my professions and all my jobs in. I have like a million jobs. You know, it did gives you a lot of time management. I do believe that it creates man out of man, boys out of man. No,
Men
man
out
out
of
of boys, man out of boys. I really do, because it gives you a sense of responsibility, a sense of community, a brotherhood. It really adults you fast. You don't really have choice in Israel. We are a tiny itty bitty country, and everything around us are usually the countries that are trying to fight us. Sometimes you have peace, sometimes you don't. Rockets, sometimes you don't. Kind of like in the South, they're okay with getting hurricanes all the time. You know, oh, there's a hurricane coming. It's like in Kansas, they have tornadoes. You know, it's kind of like you have wildfires. Yes, it's devastating, it's sad, but people are ready for it. And the same thing, I think, in Israel. People are ready for it. The sense of community in Israel is amazing. It's a small country. Everybody serve, everybody donate, everybody work hard. We do not get paid in the army like Americans do, for example. We volunteer. So we put our life on pause for 3 years, and then we go to college. So it's a sacrifice, but it's worth it.
I was going to ask if they support that transition. Like, did you feel like you put your time on hold because it's required, and then you came out and you had support from the government or from?
Oh, yeah. They do help you with college. Okay. And you can continue with the army and have a career out of it. You can work in the field that you want to work as after the army. There is a good support. But there's no such thing as not serving the army in Israel. It's a given.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, unless you have medical issues or other, you know.
Right. Like that would make sense, of course. Yeah. Now, did you have any particular roles in the army when you were there?
Yeah, I was a drill sergeant. Oh. I mean, I was like, you're going to tell me what to do, but I'm going to make sure that at least I have somebody to tell what to do. I think about somebody around just a little bit. I enjoyed it. It was really fun. And I think I found my love to fitness for that, because when I finished the army, I went straight to college and did exercise science and nutrition.
Wow.
I was like, I like doing this. This is my purpose. Awesome. What I want to do. I did try business school and quit because that's not mine. But, you know.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. I like how you shared how the experience impacted other areas of your life too, and has influenced you as a person and as an athlete. Now, what brought you from Israel to the United States?
I guess love. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad that you made it here, because then it seems like you got to get into competing. Now, how did you find the NPC? Was that through like working in the gym?
I actually tell you something interesting. In 2013, I don't think we even had a federation yet in Israel. We had bodybuilding, but we didn't have specific federation. I think there was like 4 or 5 federation, and everybody did something weird. There were no bikini girls. And this was, I think, was the first or the second year that they ever had bikini girls. I remember being one of the first bikini girls in Israel that didn't do the whole shebang. So before I start competing, they would do a dance routine, a dress routine, a bathing suit routine. I'm like, this is a lot of stuff.
Like,
and I remember saying to them, I know what you need to do. Look, there's like this division called the NPC IFBB. You don't dance. That's fitness. And where's the dresses coming from?
I love that.
I did perform in a dress once. So very sad. 2 of the pioneers that started competing with me actually passed away a month ago, and another one 2 months ago. Really sudden, age of 30 plus.
Wow.
From bad chronic diseases. So there's just 2 of us left, I think, that were pioneers of this sport. But the funny thing is, being one of the first bikini girls in Israel, I am the first IFBB Pro bikini girl from Israel.
And that's so
I think
awesome.
It's a full circuit.
Oh my gosh, especially because you told them, like, look, this is how we should be modeling it. This is the way that we should be. Like, let's look at the NPC and
I just went plain blank, and I was like, listen, I ain't dancing. I'm dehydrated. I'm dancing. No, not doing that. Sorry. I'm not doing acrobatics. Nope.
I love that. That is awesome. That is so full circle and so beautiful.
Yeah.
And are you, how many Israeli IFBB bikini pros are there?
I'm the only one.
You're the only one. That's awesome. So what does that mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, it's a dream come true. I enjoy representing Israel. I'm fully living in America right now, but I still go every 6 months, every year. I visit Israel. Israel is the love of my life. We came from Ukraine when the Federation of Russia fell over and Ukraine got their independence, and it was crazy. And my parents decided we have to run because it's gonna go nuts because the communism fell.
Yeah.
So we went to Israel, and I remember my great grandmas. They were old, and they were just on their knees kissing the ground. It meant so much to them. A lot of my grandparents been through the Holocaust. My grandma was 3, but her brother was 13. Two of my great grandmas, which I did knew them when they were alive, they survived the Holocaust, and for them to step on Holy Land, it was huge. So when I go to Israel to visit, I always go to the Western Wall and I put a little note, and I visit my grandma, and we talk about all the good things about Israel. And I hope you don't forget to light your candles on Hanukkah. And what about Sabbath dinner? You know, I do maintain a little bit of the holidays for me. I'm not specifically religious, but I do that for the sake of tradition. And Israel is amazing. If you can go to visit Israel, anybody, guys, go to visit Israel. Go. It's beautiful. It is safe. It's safe. Just don't go to the borders. But yeah, Israeli airport is the safest place in the world, by the way.
Why is that?
And we have army covered everything. So it's safe for traveling. There's so much thing for Christianity in Israel. It's a spiritual place. It does have amazing urban lifestyle as well. Beautiful beaches. It's a wonderful place.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that encouragement. Could people maybe reach out for recommendations if
Sure.
Okay.
They can as well go to Israel through their church. There's a lot of organizations that do for church that you can go. There's volunteering that you can do so you can make your trip cheaper.
Love that. It's so true. I remember my church did a few mission trips out there.
Yeah.
So I think that's a wonderful opportunity to get involved and have a view and see everything, which is super cool while serving. Well, thanks for sharing that side of you. I think that's a really special piece, and I want to be cognizant of time. So let me ask you one question about competing, then I'll get your advice.
Okay.
So what are your current goals and focus right now?
Current goal is to show up on another pro show and hopefully win a pro show this year.
Yes, and that would qualify you for the Olympia, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That'd be amazing. Future Olympian right here. That's so cool. I love it. Good goals. Now, are you doing anything specific to support that goal? Like, are you guys building anything or?
We are keeping the physique the same, improving and perfecting little parts, but mostly focusing on posing, presentation, and presence.
Love that. So like really fine tuning and then doing exactly what you said made the difference, which was perform.
And I really liked my pro debut and my bikini I wore in my pro show, in my when I won my pro card. It was purple. I never wear purple. CJ kind of helped me pick that. CJ Elite. So I usually always do blue or green, and then she was like, do purple. So I tried purple, and I rented that bikini because I wasn't sure about it. You know, I make sure I rent things first to see how it looks, try it out. I don't go spend thousands of dollars on something I'm not sure about. And I chose one. This year she sponsors me, so it's even better. And we actually sitting and working on making the perfect bikini that will suit me. Like that beautiful purple is totally in. I'm probably going to do it again, but I'm excited. I really want to work on having the step from amateur to pro to have it very smooth. I do have the mindset. I just need to make sure that I adjust everything towards that status and really show up on stage and not look like, oh, a new pro. I want to look like I'm there. I belong here. And that feeling will help me to have that confidence. It's a lot about confidence. I think a lot of bikini girls talk about it too. You have to really believe that you're going to win. You're going to really believe in yourself more than anybody else. You got to believe in yourself. And then you can actually accomplish anything.
I'm wearing my Believe Your Way to Badass sweatshirt right now. That is the truth. I wrote a book I don't know how many years ago was it. It was 2016. I wrote a book called Believe Your Way to Badass. And I
know. I've been listening to you since you started this podcast.
You're so cute.
I can't believe I'm on it. Really, if you look on my phone, I watched all your episodes.
Oh,
I watched all of them.
Thank you.
Yes, and I know you wrote a book and you're super young, and I'm like, oh, this girl's a boss.
Thank you. I'm looking at a boss too, so I believe in it. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when we do believe in ourselves. I mean, look at everything you've accomplished too, because you fostered that. Yeah, of course. And all your life experiences. And I'm sure there's so much more I feel like we could talk about too. But I'm really grateful for the time we've had. And I want to be able to get your best advice for someone who's never competed before but wants to. And then your best advice for someone on their road to pro.
Okay, so somebody who never competed. Take your time. Take your time. Enjoy every second of it. Don't rush to become a pro. Don't rush to do PEDs. Don't rush to get new bikini every show. Just enjoy the process. See if you like it first. Meet people. I think the best thing around this sport is the community. Ask other bikini pros. Ask judges. Ask promoters for their advice. Show up to shows. Watch your local stage shows. And really, put into the sport community first. Find a good coach that you connect with. And it's going to be trial and error because you can't just know right away from an interview, oh, he's good or not. You got to, work with somebody for a little bit. Don't be afraid to understand that that's not good for you and tell your coach that you're done with them if you need to. That was a little bit troubling for me. I don't like conflict. So, but I did it, and just enjoy it. Take your time. There's time to be a pro. You want to become a pro when you're ready and not become a pro and then not be a good pro. First, be a good amateur.
Love that. That is amazing. Now, how can people find and connect and even work with you?
Oh, I forgot to tell you about the pro.
Oh, I thought that was for the pro. But tell us about the road to pro advice.
Oh, the road to pro. You got to be confident. You got to show up. Don't do a national show if you're 100% not know that it's the time for you. So if you think that you're gonna place, sixth or maybe second call, don't do it. Do it when you're ready to place first. And why is that? Because you don't want to waste money.
How will you know?
You have to have a feeling. If you're confident with yourself that you think you're going to win your pro card, go for it. If your coach tells you you're going to win your pro card, go for it. If your local judge that you just did a show and maybe send them check-ins or maybe send check-ins to Sandy and they're like, I don't have much to give you feedback on. But if they tell you, no, you need to grow your glutes, don't do it. If they tell you get a little bit leaner, that's possible. But if they tell you to grow muscle, you understand that you need to take some more time and refine that physique. But I think the most listen to your coach, what your coach tells you. If he tells you that you're ready, you're going to win your pro card, go for it. If he says that you might need another year as an amateur, do it. There's no rush. Look at me.
True. 2013.
I've been doing this for years. I mean, it's 10 years now.
10 years.
I've been competing for 10 years and 4 years chasing my pro card. I enjoyed every second of it. I will not replace it for the world.
Oh, I love that so much. You just have such a beautiful energy. And when
Thank
we
you.
met at the Olympia, I was just amazed by that energy. And it was so cool. So I'm happy we finally did this. And now, will you share how people can connect with you and follow your journey?
Sure. My Instagram is Marina X Sky, and you can follow me on that. I as well work with Forge Nutrition. So you can follow Forge Nutrition on Instagram. It's Forge with a 3 instead of an E.
Perfect.
I do have a YouTube channel, and it's Marina Maliden YouTube channel. I guess that's it.
Yeah, I'll put it all in the show notes page for you. So you guys, that's always on celestial.fit/podcast. Like I said, it's alphabetized. So if you're not listening first thing on Friday, then you'll come back, you'll scroll down to the alphabetized list of categories. You'll find Marina's name. Not only will all the links be there to connect with her, but you'll also see timestamps of this episode, so you can go back to particular points that you liked. You can see a full summary of topics that we discussed, so you can tell your friends and teammates what they can expect when they listen to it. And then, of course, there's actually a summary of the episode as a whole. So if you want to reflect and review it and see if some of the summary aligns with what you found, go for it. But that's because I have an awesome assistant who does the show notes. So she'll put all of that in there for you guys. And Marina, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you, Celeste. This has been really fun.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been listening to you for years, and I can't believe that I'm on it.
Hey,
I'm on it now.
you're here. You
Thank
did
for
it.
giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, seriously. And to everybody listening, hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning. Wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode, just make it awesome.